Welcome back to the Barcade, everyone. If you watched the Barcade overview video, you will recall a brief look at our tablet that we use to enter and view high scores for our different Barcade games. In this video, we want to go more in depth as to how that all works. The tablet uses a website that we built here, written mostly in PHP and HTML. It is backed by a MySQL database to store all of the information. The web server is running on a virtual machine housed on our hosts. We'll go more in depth into the server room here in another video. The idea behind the website is to provide a quick and simple way to enter high scores for the different games and gaming systems we have in our Barcade, and to be able to view the leaderboards easily. The website also needs to look good in both a desktop web browser and on a tablet. Let's go ahead and get into the operation of the website. Our tablets run an app that turns them into a picture frame when they're not in use. So to view the website, we just tap the screen. The home page itself is relatively simple and straightforward with only a few options. We have Choose Game, Tournaments, Bowling League, and Stats. We'll go one by one to demonstrate each. We'll start with the whole reason behind the website, entering and viewing high scores. As you can see here, we have two ways to select a game. You can select the first letter in the name of the game. If you select the letter, it will bring up all the games that begin with that letter. Or you can select the game type. If you select by type, it will bring up all of the games that are classified as that type. The game types are set in the database. And as you can see, we have the following types. Arcade, which are any games we classified as arcade. Battle, which is only Mario Kart Balloon Battle at this time. Billiards, which are any games that we play on our pool table. Cards, which are any different card games that we keep track of. Carnival, which are games on the Nintendo Switch game called Carnival Games. Clubhouse, which are games on the Nintendo Switch game called Clubhouse Games. Darts, which are any games to do with our dartboard. Pinball, which are any pinball table games. Racing, which is Mario Kart. And sports, which are virtual sports games we have on the Nintendo Wii and Nintendo Switch. Now let's have a look at how we view our current leaderboards for the different games. First, you go to the Game Select page and choose a game. When you do, the game's high scores will show up. Different types of games will often have different ways of displaying their scores. A good example of this is billiards, where we keep many more stats than, say, an arcade game where we just keep the score. Mario Kart will show you your total wins and total points, but it has its own set of stats as well. Another way to view high scores is via the two high score displays we have in our Barcade. The TV over the centipede machine and the one attached to the pinball machine, which displays high scores when it's not being used as the pinball backglass. The high score pages on the displays show random games' high scores broken into different pages for the different types of games. For example, the arcade games get their own page, the pinball games get their own page, and the dart scores get their own page, and so on. To easily display and control our high score pages, we use a program called Zebo. We'll cover the operation of that in another video. Now that we've seen how to view the high scores, let's see how to enter a new one. You simply pick the game you want to enter a high score for using either the alphabetical list or the game type. You click on the game image and it takes you to the score entry page. For most games, it's very simple. You choose your name, enter your score, and click Post Score. Here you will see the Score Submit landing page, which we'll discuss a little later. If you click View Game Scores, You will notice the score entered did not beat a previous high score by the same player, so it did not get added to the list. For games that only have wins and losses, it's even more simple. You simply choose your name and choose Record Win. For battles, entering your score is a little different. You enter your name, whether it was a win or a loss, and then the total points. As you can see, the leaderboard then shows you your total wins and total points. For billiards, we keep best of match stats as well as individual game stats, so there is a bit more information to enter here. On the billiards leaderboard page, we only track match wins and losses. More advanced stats are on the billiards stats page. After you enter your score, you're taken to a landing page that compares your score to the game's all-time high score. This page will congratulate you if you beat the high score, or let you know how far off you were from the high score if you didn't. Let's move on to tournaments. Here, you can see our 4 games for this week's tournament. The games change every week on Monday morning. The games include 1 carnival game, at least 1 arcade game, and at least 1 pinball game. The 4th game is selected randomly from the arcade, clubhouse, pinball, and sports categories. We use a script to calculate the previous week's winners, as well as select new games for the week. Selection is done at random based on game type. From this page, we can view last week's winners, as well as the overall standings for each game type. Both of these pages also show on the high score displays. To enter a new tournament score, you go to the tournaments page and select the image of the game. From here, it works much like regular scoring, except the score entry gets the special tournament tag so that it can be separated from regular scores for standings and stats purposes. Scores entered during a tournament still count for the overall leaderboards for the games. From the tournament score entry landing page, you can choose to enter another score, view the game's overall high scores, or view the tournament standings for the week. Next up is our bowling league. We use Wii Sports Bowling to run a virtual bowling league with a few participants. The rules of the league are simple. You bowl a minimum of 3 games per week to be eligible, and winners are determined based on overall average for the week. There is no maximum to the amount of games you can bowl per week. On this page, you will find the current week's leaderboard broken up by overall average, games bowled, and highest score. From here, you can view the scores entered for the current week. Or view the overall standings, as well as some other stats for the league. From the league standings page, you can view individual week winners. Entering a league score works just the same as any other score. You click the game image and it takes you to the score entry page. The only difference being that the league tag gets applied. The score landing page gives you the option to enter another score, view the overall bowling leaderboards, or view the current week league standings. Lastly, we have our stats page. On here, we can choose from recent scores, most played, and least played. The recent scores you choose by game type, and it will show you a list of recent scores entered for that game type. The most played games show the games with the most scores entered. Bowling leads this here because of the bowling league. The least played games show the games with the least amount of scores entered. We use this count to suggest games to play in the Barcade, and show these suggestions on the Barcade displays. Well, that wraps up the introduction and overview of our Barcade scoring system. We're constantly working to improve the site and add new features. We're currently on version 4 of the site and working on version 5. Be sure to stay tuned for more videos about improvements and features. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay up to date on everything we're doing here at DFI, don't forget to like and subscribe, and smash that notification bell to be alerted to new videos.